Hey, I'm Finny. Welcome to Footy Fin. I want to preview round three of the Rugby Nations Championship happening today, Saturday, with a particular focus on the Wallabies versus Italy from Perth, and bit of a mention of some other games of note happening as well. So, the Wallabies. Yeah. The Wallabies. Let's hope they can have a win from an Australian point of view. They've lost their last two matches against Italy, both of which happened in Italy. They've never lost to Italy in Australia. I think there have been seven of those matchups. So let's hope, from an Aussie point of view, that record can remain intact. However, am I overly confident? No, and look, I should say, and this is Joe Schmidt's last game as head coach of Australia. He will be involved in some capacity as a consultant, I think, into the future for new coach Les Kiss. But yeah, his last game as head coach. So he and others would love to see an Australia win from that point of view. Look, the Wallabies have lost 9 of their last 10 tests. And the one win in the 10 was a narrow win over Japan towards the end of last year. I did a bit of a count and they have lost, is it 18 of their last, or 19 of their last 28, something in that vicinity. Basically, so only a 10% win rate in their last 10 tests. Across all of Joe Schmidt's tenure of about 30 tests, it's about a 1 in 3 win rate, and their win rate throughout 2025 was exactly 1 in 3, 5 from 15. I think they're sitting at 11 from 30 under Joe's tenure. So look, it's not great. It's not great at all. And yeah, look, showed a lot of promise in the first half against France. And look, there's no shame in losing to France necessarily, but the second half was just completely deflating, very different to the first half last weekend. Also, a deflating loss to Ireland in Sydney prior to that. But anyway, look, there are no major changes, just a couple of changes to the starting lineup for the Wallabies this week compared to last week. Fly half Declan Meredith plays for the Brumbies, but a Queenslander initially, made his test debut last week. And he returns. It's almost a last man standing type scenario. Ben Donaldson is on the bench. There was not a dedicated fly half on the bench last week, so Jock Campbell, a fullback, slotted in as a makeshift fly half in the latter stages of the game. Donaldson is on the bench this time. He is based in Perth these days. And speaking of force players, Carlo Tizzano in his hometown comes on at 7. Fraser McReight goes to the bench. And Dylan Peach on the wing is out injured with a calf injury. He's replaced by Harry Potter. Is Potter the best man to replace him? Well, not necessarily in my view. But there you have it. That's how the teams line up. So, yeah, look. I just don't really know what to say. For the Italians, couple of Aussies on the wings again, Lewis Liner and Monto Ioane. The Gabisi brothers are in the halves. Menoncello's out injured. Look, I'm not going over both squads man for man. You can look at Mark on 2 Cents Rugby for an in-depth overview of from that perspective. Yeah, look, I'm just not overly optimistic, but I'm hopeful that the Wallabies may be able to get it together and have a win over Italy, not succumb to a first ever loss in Australia to Italy. I hope that can be the case. But the Italians are very good. They had a very strong Six Nations, and also it should be said both teams playing tonight are winless to date in the Rugby Championship. 2 losses. The Italians have lost to Japan in Japan and to the All Blacks in New Zealand, so they'll be very keen to get a victory. Their coach Gonzalo Quesada is banned, strangely, from attending the stadium. That's a shame for him and for them. Maybe unwarranted or overly harsh, I don't know. Anyway, I hope the Wallabies can have a win, but once again, I wouldn't be betting my house on it, and it's a hope that kills you as a Wallabies fan. In other fixtures, the All Blacks take on Ireland at Eden Park. Ireland have a chance to challenge the Eden Park record. All Blacks unbeaten there, going back to 1994 when they lost to France there. So Ireland are not at absolute top strength, and this is the end of a long season for them. So if I had to put money on someone, it'd be the All Blacks, but that should be a good contest. And the other good, probably best contest will be England playing away to Argentina. That should be a bit of an interesting one. England have had a bit of a long road trip to South Africa, back to England, now to Argentina, but that's the nature. Italy have had a lot of travel as well. Japan to New Zealand, then all the way across to the west coast of Australia as opposed to the east coast. And Wales against the Springboks, Japan v France, and Scotland up against Fiji. So should be, it's a bit of a feast of rugby, but yeah, I'm just holding on to a bit of hope that the Wallabies can have a win on home soil. What do you reckon? Who do you think's going to win that match, or any of the others I've mentioned? I'd love to hear what you think. You don't have to agree with me. Disagreement's not conflict, as we say. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love that. And I'm going to go find a rolling maul to stick my head into. Hopefully catch you again soon. See ya.